Hi Avani, how are you? Can't believe it's our last video lesson, at least of the year. So incredible how the time has passed. But anyway, I hope you're doing good. And well, why don't we warm up with some scales, because over the summer I don't know how many times we're gonna see each other. So it's a good idea to keep your technique going, even during those breaks. So let me just show you a good way to practice your scales. First off, a wonderful thing is just to go through the circle of fifths, which is the arrangement of scales. So we start at C. So you play C. Ideally 4 octaves. So the idea is to really keep a nice, smooth line going. And then after we do C, we go 5 away, which is G. And you keep going to D, A, E, B, F sharp. And C sharp is the last scale with the sharps in it. Now, I think we've gone through a lot of them together, so you should, that was a good review actually of your key signatures and your fingerings and things of that sort. Now the scales, you should aim to work on a few different aspects, because scales are wonderful tools in music. Scales are found in all music actually, and are the building blocks of music. But beyond that, the way we actually practice scales is very important. So one way or one focus in your scale should be keeping the right hand voice louder than the left. Because when we practice it that way, what we're doing is we're practicing balance between the hands. We're practicing something called voicing, which voicing is always the important job of the pianist, to pull out the most important voice, the most important element. The left hand voice, also you could try making the left hand more important, which will be in many cases easier because the left hand is playing at an area of the piano that's anyway very loud and gets a lot of attention. Another way to practice your scales is varying the touch. You know, legato, one hand, and then you could flip it around. If the right hand has legato, make the left hand staccato, or both hands legato. Practice different touches of your staccato. For instance, it could be a very crisp, dry staccato, or it could have a little bit more of a detached quality, which is a little bit warmer. So these are all things. And then of course we can practice with dynamic change. So practice crescendos, practice diminuendos, practice just loud, practice just medium loud, practice just soft. Now this is something that of course takes time, and I'm not saying you practice all these different scales every day with all these different variations, but each day you should have a working plan where you do at least one scale with at least maybe 2 or 3 different variations. So take turns varying the either pick a category, okay? Like pick a category of how you're going to vary the scale. So choose from, are you going to vary the texture, like the articulation, legato, staccato, okay? Another way, how are you going to voice it? Which balance are you going to take? Right hand louder, left hand louder? Which dynamic are you going to choose for the 3rd repetition? And then fourthly, you can also vary the rhythm. So we never should practice just one way, because that's a sure way to just hit an obstacle, a roadblock where you're not going to progress past. Because just like a muscle, piano playing, you need to hit it practice-wise from different angles. So the more we can engage some other aspect in learning scales, the better our results will be. So varying the rhythm is very important. So dotted. Okay, and or you know, long, short, short, 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 long. Another way. So you can come up with an infinite amount of variations. So remember those categories: rhythmic category, the category of dynamics, the category of balance, and the category or voicing, as we call it as well, and the category of articulation or texture. Okay, so that should give you a lot to work on over the summer months. Okay, over the summer months we should also do another journey. I'll give you a couple of suggestions the next time you come. And then the last lesson we were working on the tarantella, and the idea was to really get that going. And so I also today want to do the same thing with the nocturne, because I think this is another piece that we could really make, speed up the learning process so that we could get it through the finish line now. So much beauty in this piece, right? So much we can do. Left hand. Lots of practice to make it sound like, almost like waves in the ocean, that are rolling in from the deep. To make it sound like those waves, you have to create mini currents of crescendo. So you push it out a little bit as you get to the middle. Let's say the third, eighth note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so go towards the middle, and you'll achieve a beautiful bell-like crescendo curve. Right hand. Fingertip cannot be more firm, more curved, and more prepared for melodies, because melodies need to sing. If I have an unprepared finger and I try to play this melody, I'm not going to have any clarity behind this. It's just going to be like a wet noodle. Nothing. So you have to really make a beautiful firm fingertip and let those beautiful overtones just pop. And listen carefully to what you get. Piano playing is dynamic. It's actually you know, the sound is alive, and the sound is never the same. So it really depends on how you approach it. So really internalize it by listening, because when you listen, there's so much more that goes into the flavor of your sound. It's like really good cooks, when they are loving what they're doing, you know, you could taste the love in the food, right? It's just something you can't describe. You know, when somebody really loves to cook and they're really good at it and they enjoy it, you could really sense the love. So same thing when you play piano. If you just play the notes, hoping you're gonna get them right, E, B, okay, D, A, C, G, they don't come out shining and alive. They just come out prepackaged, and nothing happens with the sound. It just kind of dies. But when you really listen to it, it has like a blossom to it. It has like a second life. It just blooms in the air, like a rose that, you know, just budded open, and it's like pow, you know. So that's what you want, especially in a melody, because that's what you hear. All right, so this is more that we'll explore, because it's a rich topic. But I will see you on Friday. Bye, Avani.